I'm Kerry Fink with Helping Seniors of Brevard. Today is Monday. It's April 13th, and welcome to Helping Seniors Updates. And thank you for joining us as we try to keep up to date on what's going on as we take all the good COVID-19 precautions here in Brevard County. And we like to come on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and kind of give you a quick update of everything that we know about that's going on around in the county, with the idea of keeping us safe and healthy and moving forward. And so today, on behalf of Joe Steckler, our president and founder, I have the privilege of having with us a good longtime friend of the Helping Seniors organization, and that's Barb McIntyre with Reverse Mortgage. And thank you for being here. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, Kerry. Thank you. I
Good.
enjoyed a nice quiet Easter at home. Watched my church service on Facebook and stayed home, and it was a quiet and nice stay. So being healthy.
Yeah, I always use the tagline, safe is good. And you know, we were having this conversation last week that I remember when they came to us, because our offices are, of course, closed. The physical office is closed for walk-in traffic during this while we take all the precautions that the governor has asked us to do. That doesn't mean we're not in business. We're 100% open, and Kim Bernard is busy on the Helping Seniors Information Helpline, which that number is 321-473-7770. Again, 321-473-7770. But just like they've asked us to, we're all working remotely so that we can stay safe and help slow that spread and stop that spread. And so most definitely, though, I wanted to ask you, it's a whole new way of working, but with what you do, the question I wanted to ask you is, how are you doing? Are you able to keep your business moving, and are you open for business? And what's going on for you guys with the reverse mortgage side?
Right. Yes, we are open for business, but we have, like everyone else, had to modify everything we're doing. So where I'm here locally and would normally be sitting at my customer's kitchen table, I'm doing my business over the phone. I'm mailing information. They're on their phone. We're taking advantage when we have the wherewithal to use things like Skype or Zoom, so that we're looking at the same information and talking, and we're just, still moving forward. People are, in some ways, people are needing to inquire more about the product because reduced income, a stock market that has absolutely, they don't want to draw funds out of. They're looking at how can they use their house to help give them the monies they need and leave everything else in place for recovery. So I'm up and running, and I answer my phone all the time. And that number, if you have any questions, is 321-259-7880, and you can call anytime. I don't have regular office hours. I have a home-based office. So the weekends and the evenings, whatever is convenient, I answer my phone and answer all questions.
You know, I know that you and Joe have done many television programs along the way. In fact, you're scheduled to do radio with us on Wednesday. So folks, if you want to jot that on your calendar, Wednesday at 12 noon, you can join Joe, myself, and Barb McIntyre, and you can find us on 90.3 FM. That's WEJF FM radio station. And if you like to listen online, you can find us there too at www.wejf.net. And so we'll look forward to seeing you on the radio on Wednesday as well. But, that is one of the things. You and Joe have done so many television programs and radio programs over the years explaining to people the value of reverse mortgages. And I guess one of the things that I hear them talking about all the time is, number one, we need to stay safe. But the other thing that I hear them talking about a lot is the challenges that this has done economically for so many people. If they're working, maybe they're not working now. If they were doing a certain thing and relying on certain things, like you mentioned in the stock market, maybe that isn't working out the right way now. And I remember that you and Joe have talked quite a lot about the fact that putting a reverse mortgage in place can be a great tool, even if you don't see the need to tap into it right away.
That's right, because something happens like now, where you might be drawing out of the market regularly dividends to supplement your Social Security income. And now all of a sudden, if you draw those funds out in a market that's coming down, it's just not good for your longevity, and, for the money staying available for a long period of time. So yes, reverse mortgages definitely have their place. They can be, used, draw on them, don't draw on them. It's a good part of a strategic retirement plan. So absolutely.
So as folks are literally sitting around the house because that's what we're supposed to do,
Right.
maybe they ought to just give a call and ask a little bit. Do you have time to
Right.
take calls from people who just want to kind of, I guess what I would say is kick the tires and maybe learn a little
Absolutely.
more?
That's what I like to do. I'm an educator, but more than any other thing, I like to give people the solid facts, because unfortunately, over the years, the biggest thing that we see consistently is people's misunderstanding about the product. That even still continues, where some people say, oh, the bank is going to take your house, which is
Mhm.
probably the biggest misconception that's been going on for years. So yes, I enjoy giving people the information so they have an opportunity to make educated decisions.
Yeah, I heard you and Joe talking on I think it was on the last radio show we did. And I remember asking the question to you guys about, it seems like basically it's almost like getting a home equity loan, except one that you're not required to pay back
It's
in some simplistic way.
absolutely. It is very much like that. Only it has some features that home equity loans don't, including that of not having a required payment. But
Yeah. So, but you're still in control. You can choose to pay it back
absolutely.
or not, is whatever you would like to do. And I kind of gather that that's a challenge for many people right now. Is I know we have stimulus checks on the way and things. We're being told that if you're a small business, there's things you can do and all those things. And I imagine it'll probably take a little bit of time for all that to work its way into the system. And then when we're finally released to kind of go back to whatever the new normal is going to be. I'm sure
Right.
they're still going to encourage us to stay somewhat socially distant, so they're not going to want
Right.
us to all necessarily huddle in masses like we've been used to.
I
But
think you're right.
maybe we'll be smarter and safer coming out of this. But it still
Right.
seems like it would be a good idea, even in this time, for people to take advantage of the time to get educated, maybe find
Right.
out what the particulars of their situation might
Right.
be. So I assume, like the rest of us, you're keeping up with things that are going on in Brevard County. I didn't know if there was any thoughts or tips that you wanted to share with folks. I know you're active in your church. You had already mentioned that you had, just like we did. Everybody's doing church at home over the weekend,
Right.
just to do it the right way and the safe way. But I didn't know if you had any tips or anything that's more general that you might want to share with folks tuning in today.
Well, I think most people are aware that the grocery stores and places like that have really made available certain hours to be able to go and just be around older people and not have quite go during off hours when there's so many more people in the store. And I think that's one of the biggest things I like to see is people taking advantage of when the stores have, like Publix has 2 days a week from 7 to 8. They just don't let anyone in under 60 years old, so that you have an opportunity to shop and have less people around you. I something people need to really take advantage of.
I so agree with that. In fact, I made the comment to Joe when we were talking at the end of last week. I said, we fight real hard as helping seniors on the advocacy front. In fact, one of the things that
Mhm.
I mentioned I wanted to remind people to check out is that Joe just published a column, as he does every other week, in the Hometown News publication, which goes out to 60,000 copies every month, every week here in
Right.
Brevard County. And his article is titled "Why Senior Advocacy in Brevard County." And as you know, we've been trying to have our meeting and it keeps
Right.
getting pushed a little bit because we want to do the right thing and keep everybody safe. But we're committed to getting that scheduled as soon as the governor relaxes restrictions, and then we can do that the right way. But my point was going to be, we're always advocating, folks. You got to look after seniors. We in this county
Mhm.
love kids, and we put in a extra penny sales tax so the kids can have the best
Right.
schooling possible, and we do things that go out of the way for kids. But we have more seniors than we do kids in this county, and the question is, are we doing the right thing for our seniors? And my hope and prayer through all of this is that finally people are getting a sense that we do have to protect our seniors. In fact, at the start of the show, we started talking about our office, which is co-located in the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, which is co-located with Zon Beachside. And I started to mention at the start of our talk that, you know, they came to us way, way, way early and said, guys, we're going to lock down Zon, and we have our own entrance and such to the senior resource, so we don't necessarily have to pass through Zon. And I remember thinking at the time, I said, oh my goodness, this is like crazy. Do they have somebody with COVID here? And the answer was no, and we don't want to. And so we want to keep everybody safe. And then a couple of weeks later, as you know, the governor put in restrictions and said, look, we really want you guys to try to work from home. So that's what we elected to do. And it's nice to see people taking these precautions safely. And I really hope as we come out of this, that there's going to be a renewed appreciation for seniors who even the federal government considers what they call vulnerable citizens, the same way they classify kids. And so I'm glad that we're all getting an education, and we're all going to be safer because we're going to wash our hands and we're going to social distance and all these things. I think that's good. The other thing I wanted to, did you have any other comment or anything to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Kerry.
No, I was going to say, the other thing I want to bring up, because people are asking a lot, we get emails and we posted it out on the website and on the Facebook. They say, what about the car raffle? And the answer is the car raffle is on. We did have to push the date forward, and we can't even release the new date yet. They're talking about that it's going to be at the end of summer or beginning of September. The reason for that being is we can't even safely or legally announce a rescheduled date until the governor has released those restrictions. So Joe has been talking with Mark Pylock. They're committed to getting the first available date that we can do as soon as they release those restrictions. But in the meanwhile, that is how you can help the work of Helping Seniors. And Kim is taking those calls and helping seniors. We put out a lot of resources where food banks are. We had an email in today. Somebody said, if you're looking for toilet paper, the secret is to get to Sam's Club before 8:30 in the morning. After that, it gets pretty sketchy. So the things that you were talking about, how the stores have made available senior hours so that they can shop safely, is really just a great way that folks are starting to think that we have to advocate for seniors. So I'm really glad to see all of that.
Right. And I also say, you know, don't forget to thank the young people and older people working in those stores and all around us, providing services through all of this. When you see all the cashiers, baggers, stockers at Publix, and even the young people delivering food from the stores. I mean, it's not just about the health, the people, the nurses and doctors. It's about everyone out there working to keep things moving and allow us to be able to stay at home where we are safer. I really appreciate it.
What you're saying is so true, because I think for the first time we're getting a sense of who the real heroes are, the people who are on the front line. And I think all too often people overlook the people who are really taking care of us, the people in the grocery stores, the people who drive in the trucks to get the stuff where it needs to go to, the first responders who are always out there. They run into the problem, not away from the problem. The doctors, the nurses, everybody who's showing up for work safely at the assisted livings and the nursing facilities, and just everybody who's pulling together. So it's a nice thing to see in the middle of a very, very difficult situation, everybody working together to get through it and make the best of it.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll get through it. We'll come out the other side. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to have some type of inoculation or like a flu shot. But until that happens, I think life is going to be a little different.
Yeah, my prayer is that we'll all take this hand washing and distancing thing in a good way, and maybe it will help us all that we stay healthier and certainly are able to carry on in a good way. So I want to thank you, Barb, for being with us today on this Helping Seniors Update. We're going to look forward to seeing you on Wednesday on the radio. So again, folks, make sure you jot that on your calendar at 12 noon Wednesday, WEJF 30,000 watts FM. It just blankets and booms through the whole Space Coast. So if you're listening on a radio, 90.3 FM. And if you're going to listen online, WEJF.net. And so Barbara McIntyre with Reverse Mortgage Funding, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. And one more time before we break, that phone number so people can get in touch with you and ask those questions.
Anytime, 321-259-7880. or 321-259-7880.
All right. Well, thank you,
Thanks,
Barb, and
Kerry.
hope you have a great afternoon. And thank you, viewer, for tuning in to Helping Seniors Updates. We'll be back on Wednesday with more. Hope you have a good and safe afternoon.